sobre amigos. Hola a todos, hey everyone. Today I want to take a glimpse at the topic, which may be yet another crazy conspiracy theory, but I don't think that it's a theory, given the fact that there's Pizzagate, there's Epstein Islands, there's all these PDFs and all this atrocity in the world. But yet again, we're gonna take a look at this at first, together with you. We're speaking about cannibalism today, right? But this is like a covert cannibalism, because this is about McDonald's serving human body parts. I wouldn't call it food, you know? And before we start, man, I just, maybe like I've ordered, I've eaten in McDonald's like throughout different periods of my life, like endlessly, countless times. But since, I don't know, like maybe since somewhere around like 2021, 2022, something right about all that. And, it was just like a disgust has developed within me towards the fast food. Or how you call it, like people in America call it junk food. Like it's the title speaks for itself. You're eating junk. Are you like satisfied with that? I've stopped ordering that completely. I can't really remember when was the last time I ordered something from like the fast food. Inside tells me not to use that. Something inside tells me not to consume. And of course I'm not gonna tell you like what to think or what to do. It's completely your own right. To make your own conclusions, so sort of your own decisions based upon the info that you're getting. If you think that this is some crazy batshit conspiracy theory yet again, look at the Epstein files. I don't know, look at the aliens or whatever the hell. So, but it's your right. It's your right to think that Earth is flat, that we live under a dome or whatever the hell. Yeah. So without further ado, let's do this shit. And take a look at this. I just found a nose ring in my McDonald's chicken. What? Yeah. I mean, this can be explained like it might not be necessarily human meat out there, right? But this can be explained more logically, like sort of in a more logical way. So I don't know, maybe there was some Gen Z Karen old girl working in that specific McDonald's, making that those specific nuggets or whatever, and her piercing just fell off. So I wouldn't put my bet on like 100% probability of that being human flesh out there. But still, this is a little bit concerning. God damn it, man! Look at this. So I just saw it McDonald's nuggets, and a bit like once again, it's a nose ring. What the hell is going on with these Karens at work?
Once they reach your brain, they can cause fatal damage by destroying neurons and creating
completely raw chicken.
There's a deadly condition called prion disease. Your immune system also reacts.
How is this fucking edible?
It doesn't know how to process.
I just forgot to put it, I guess, inside. Never forget to put it inside.
Over time, prion exposure leads to brain damage, personality changes, loss of movement control, and eventually death. So while your body can digest it at first,
man, I don't know, like, what does this have to do with McDonald's serving human flesh? Maybe not the best video to showcase that, but a couple of nose rings and just raw chicken, raw burgers, not fried in any sort of way. I guess SpongeBob forgot to go to Krusty Krabs this time. Okay, but anyway, what do you guys think? How does that happen? Basically, if McDonald's has like this super strict, almost military control and conveyor system where they treat their employees like crap, and where an employee is not allowed to even to take an extra breath, then how does this happen? How does this happen so often? So let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Epstein files. There was some things said about McDonald's, bro. Jeffrey Epstein was writing an email explaining how a certain group of people, they tricked the into eating human flesh. The meat that's in...
No.
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah. So McDonald's has ties to hospital. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald Hospital.
Yeah.
Where's the farms?
That's a good question.
They did the math. There's like the amount of burgers that McDonald's produces. There's not enough cows.
Yeah. 100%.
There's not enough cows.
Yeah.
So where does it come from?
No, no.
Yeah,
So,
so-
Gavin,
No,
it is-
I
it
just
is.
got it.
I'm just gonna show you a compilation of people finding weird things in their food,
Oh
right?
my god, this is bad. Kimberly's.
Somebody found like a
cheeseburger.
tooth.
Went to McDonald's.
Look,
I got 2 teeth on the day.
Well, man, obviously not everything's been shown like in this vid, but still a little bit concerning, isn't it? I wouldn't order any cheeseburgers or hamburgers out there, that's for sure. Same for other fast food, for other junk food chains. The enshittification is, I guess, is at its peak now. You know what's also interesting is that I think with all these conspiracies about like we being fed our own kind, sorta, is that humanity is some sort of like Ouroboros, which just eats its own tail and like, you know, if you paraphrase that into a more understandable human language, it's gonna be something like we eat ourselves. Do you guys remember that movie? I guess it was called Cloud Atlas with Tom Hanks, by the way. Hello Hollywood, or should I say hello Pedowood. He played, well, I guess he was the main protagonist out there, or at least one of the two. And there was this drink in some of the future timelines, I guess. So there was this drink called soap. And at one point in the movie, it gets uncovered that that soap is basically made from humans. They telling you straight to your face, don't they? They don't have to hide because there's nothing to hide. Because nothing's gonna be done about it, man. Nothing's gonna be done about it. You may wanna be mad at me, you know, but just as history shows, like every civilization is built on top of bones and corpses of a previous one. And it's a multi-layered structure. Yeah, so it's hell. No other way to describe that, man.
Is human meat served at McDonald's? I'm getting a no.
I wouldn't trust a metallic rod to, you know, to answer that question for me.
Okay. I just wanted to wait for that other rod to move a little bit more for confirmation. Has human meat ever been served at McDonald's? No. Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better. I don't personally eat at McDonald's very often. For those of you that do, rest assured.
I wouldn't rest assured because, you know, a couple of metallic rods, and when I slightly move my hands, you know, they adjust to this slight hands movement. Man, I wouldn't trust these at first because this is some esoteric BS. But anyway, if that lady is feeling like better, at least in her own mind, this is justified, then like who am I to tell you otherwise? Throughout all the ages of human civilization, people used to believe in fairy tales, and they still do. Most people would love to be deceived, and most people would love to be taken advantage of. Sometimes I think why I am not a woman in this day and age. Why I was born as a man. Because if I were a woman with this mind and this energy, man, I would have been a billionaire now. It would have been so easy. I wouldn't even have to try anything. But okay, no. I'm happy the way I am, and of course, it was just a joke, just for entertainment purposes only. This one is interesting because it's also about like the frequency of the meat. So speaking of, vibrational perspective, let me put it plainly. When an animal is killed, it is scared at the moment of death. It's scared. And that vibration let me put it this way, it is saved into its flesh. It stays in its flesh, even after death. So when you consume meat, you consume stress. And meat is an addiction, like junk food is an addiction. Modern day and age addiction. Well, it's been here for quite some time already, but it's just an addiction, man. Just another goddamn addiction. So you kind of consume that stress of that killed animal. And believe me, I felt it. I used to eat steaks, like pork barbecues, and all that. One thing is you feel pretty heavy stomach in your body after that. because you basically consume like diseased, rotten sort of like flesh, like fire processed and marinated. But the worst part of it is that sometime after that you can kind of feel like that very stress, that very fear for your life sort of thing, almost as if you are that very same animal, because a part of it is in you right now because you have just consumed it. So yeah, this shit is strange, man.
So I was curious the other day and found this online. McDonald's sells 6.5 million burgers in one single day. That's 195 million burgers a month. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't see cows lined up around every corner waiting to be turned into patties. I mean, seriously, do the math. Even if you stretched one cow into a bunch of burgers, you're still talking millions of cows just to keep up every day. So I started asking myself, where are all these cows coming from? Is there some secret super ranch hidden underground? Are they growing cows in labs, cloning meat behind closed doors? People laugh it off, but think, when was the last time you even saw a cow farm big enough to supply this madness? And don't say imported beef, because even globally, the numbers don't add up smooth. And look, I'm not saying it ain't real meat. I'm just asking the question no one wants to. What the hell are we eating? Because if it ain't cows, then what is it? Remember, I'm not insinuating anything. I am simply asking a question.
Well, that's a good one, because if you do the math, like for example, if we take the States, there's a lot of McDonald's in the States. And they produce like a whole shit ton of burgers every day. And each burger requires at least one patty. Maybe two, if we take like Big Mac or Big Tasty or whatever the hell. If you extrapolate that and scale that, to the whole country, where are all the farms? And there was a video which says, which asked, related to the same topic, which asked another question, where are all the cemeteries? So, this is a question. I'm not an American person, so I mean, not an American citizen. So this is basically a question to the people from the U.S. So what do you guys think about it? Has this topic at least been circulating somewhere in the news, I believe, or in some media? I mean, except the TikTok or, Instagram. Because, yeah, I would be curious to know your take on that. Because if you do the math doesn't math, right? In this case.
That's not a joke, is it? That's really it. That's really the burger. Look at that. This is the burger.
And this is some cookie, I know. Limp Biscuit.
Should say 100% beef. You know it ain't beef. That shit. Beef don't break up like that. Beef do not break up like that, bro. Beef will stay like that. This ain't no fucking beef. That's human flesh.
New cemetery being built. I'm not seeing any holes being dug at these cemeteries. Where are the bodies going? Not everyone is cremated. Where are the bodies going? I'm not seeing a hearse these days. What the fuck is...
Right, and when I found out that McDonald's have a contract with over 10,000 hospitals across the world...
Why not?
I'm trying to figure out, how does that make sense?
Why do McDonald's have a contract with the NHS? What other companies have contracts with the NHS? Or speculate.
Damn it, I went down this freaking cemetery rabbit hole. Shit! It done blew my mind, got me thinking why 330 million people that live in here in America, and there's only 144,000 cemeteries in America, which on average is 2,400 dead people per cemetery if everybody in America was die at once. You telling me this nation been going for 250 years and we still got room in cemeteries and there's not new cemeteries ever being built? Man, get the fuck out of here.
If you have got a photo driving licence, have a look on the back, and in the bottom left-hand corner you will see the number 12. Now that will mean nothing to most people, but if you've got a code next to that number 12 and the code would say 115, I wonder if you're aware that that means you are on the organ donor register. Now, my friend doesn't want to be on that register. He doesn't believe in it, and I know that.
And I would prefer my body to be cremated after it dies, I would prefer to follow that, lifelong Indian tradition or like a Buddhist tradition or something like that. Probably because in one of my past lives I was an Indian or I lived there. Jeez, I even got the name. I even have the name. Yeah, but not the case. I mean, if you really try to do the math in all these things, you'll just understand that the numbers don't add up. Obviously, like, I'm not from the UK or from the US, where these, fine people film those videos and share their thoughts. Because it's our human nature to be curious about all that. And if you take a look at like how much land is being occupied in 2026, right, compared to, for example, I don't know, like 200 years ago or 150. Of course, like, that begs the question, like, the system cannot circulate the way it used to. So it begins to eat itself. It cannot spread because there's nowhere to spread. And if it would spread just like in the good old days, right? Like in the days of the Wild West and, in conquering the locals, and there wouldn't be any free, acre of land due to all the cemeteries and probably all the waste. So naturally, when the system cannot contain itself on a territory, it begins to turn into, once again, into an Ouroboros. Like, it begins to eat itself. Pretty curious about why does McDonald's have the contracts with, how many hospitals did that woman mention? It's like, come on, there's something weird definitely going on behind the scenes. Of course, it can be portrayed as some like medical research, I know, or probably it might be related to data which is needed for the McDonald's as an organization, something that they would, probably try and implement into their food technology to change the processing of their foods, so that, amid like the spread of some diseases and stuff like that. Because, like, it's a huge amount of med tech data, basically, from all the hospitals that they have contracts with. And what does that medical tech data, like, basically, what medical data include? Like medical history of different age groups, different groups with some chronic diseases. Mostly, I guess it's all like targeted for the digestive system. So they take, data, that huge amounts of data, they kind of like do some engineering on it, and they structure it, I believe, so that they know better which taste must this food have, how it must be produced, so that it can, just as the social media algorithms, so that it can like make you the most addicted with probably with least consequences for them as a corporate entity. Once again, corporate entity. Entity. The key word here is entity. It's not a person. It's an entity. It's some, once again, more higher power that controls that structure. Probably even a demon of gluttony. Mammoth. The Mammoth, I guess it's called. He's done a pretty good job, Applaud to Mammoth. I applaud too, Keeping hundreds of millions of people under the spell of junk food, of the taste they cannot escape, and keeping them addicted. That's one hell of a job. As as Bob Barbas from Devil May Cry would say, just doing God's.
We're not cannibals, so what we do is we take those, because we can make some shekels, and we give them to the slaughterhouses, and those are pounds and pounds and pounds of meat that we grind up in the sausage and the hamburger, and that's why we made those the most popular thing, sausage for breakfast and hamburger for lunch. And so all the goyim out here are really eating their children. And even when we say this outright and tell you people, you don't believe it. So that's your problem.
They put human flesh in the hamburgers and you people eat the hamburgers. But you don't complain about it. This is your problem, people. You are the goyim, we are the chosen. We don't care about you. We will destroy you because we hate you. Because our God has chosen us. And our God is an almighty Saturn. Saturn and the Baphomet that we worship on this earth. And you people wouldn't do shit about that because we don't care about that. And you don't care about that. You prefer to be under the spell. You prefer to be under the spell. You prefer to be like that. So we're just gonna continue feeding you some human bodies chopped up into the hamburgers and cheeseburgers. Another type of burgers. And then we would even call it human burgers. And you wouldn't do shit about that. So that's your problem, the guy. So that you understand, this has been going on for quite some time. That's what they really think about people like us. But you know, one thing he's right, Mr. Finkelstein. The thing he's right about is that this is actually our problem. Because as long as we consume that, they're gonna be producing that. Just like simple economic law of supply and demand, man. Nothing else to it. I mean, just because you work there doesn't mean that you know everything about that place. Most interesting, like, come on, man. Did the masters of ancient Egypt ever share their plans with the slaves? No, they just told them to do stuff and that's it. They told them to do stuff, they paid them for it until they died and that's it. Why do you think that would like change in the modern world? Just because we have the gadgets now and we have the net now and we have the drones now, it doesn't make us any more advanced, should I say. Because at the heart of it all, we are still mammals. We're still mammals. We still have our reptilian minds, and it won't ever go away. At least not in this dense 3D realm. No matter what you think about it, it's still gonna stay this way. So just as Finkelstein said, it's your problem.
Did you know a McDonald's in Germany served human meat for 7 months and nobody noticed until an employee found a wedding ring in a burger patty? In 2019, a McDonald's in Berlin was getting their meat from a local supplier for cheaper prices. The owner wanted to cut costs. Everything seemed normal until Emma, a 19-year-old employee, was preparing a batch of burgers. She found something hard in the meat, a gold wedding ring with an inscription, "Forever Yours," and a 2018. She showed her manager, who immediately called the police. When investigators raided the supplier's warehouse, what they found was beyond horrifying. The freezer had body parts mixed with regular beef. The owner had been buying bodies from a corrupt funeral home employee, homeless people who passed away with no family to claim them. He would grind them up and mix just 30% human meat with 70% beef. Over 7 months, they estimate 2,400 people ate human flesh without knowing. But here's the sickest part, the supplier kept trophies Polaroid photos of every victim before processing. 89 photos were found. When police checked the McDonald's sales records, they found something terrifying. The days they served the contaminated meat had 40% more sales. Customers kept saying the burgers tasted different, but better. Some became regular customers, specifically asking for the special meat. The McDonald's was permanently closed, but 31 of the victims were never identified.
So, I got a question for people in Germany. Have you really heard that story? Or is it like some fake AI generated, like fake AI news sort of type of thing? Because if it's not, well, what can I say? Capitalism, baby, right? Everything for the profits, everything for the business. Screw the people. It seems like, you know, the modern world is just like one giant meat grinder nowadays. Chews and spits, it chews and spits, it chews and spits, and then it pukes. Just one giant meat grinder. And with all the wars starting right now, man, I think they need some immigrants to continue to supply that meat grinder. If you are a politician, how do you get rid of the homelessness problem? You know, you just drug homeless people and, you know, you drag them to a factory and they get chopped up and then you serve them mixed with the beef and with other types of meat that they actually like sort of produce and serve there, and then you supply that to fast food chains and people just eat that and then they wonder why are bad things are happening to us. Oh man, enough said. But once again, this is only for entertainment and educational purposes. Everything I say here is just a sick joke. Take a look at this article. So human meat found. This is by the way, this article is like is from 2020. It was posted 6 years ago. So it says that human meat found in McDonald's meat factory. Previously, we brought you a report that detailed disturbing audio admissions by men that claim McDonald's used human meat as a filler in their 100% beef hamburgers, and the fact that McDonald's has been accused of using worm meat fillers. Worm. Ah, man. First, we eat the worms, then worms eat us, right, when we die. Now, inspectors have allegedly found human meat and the horse meat in the freezers of an Oklahoma City McDonald's meat factory. Human meat was also recovered in several trucks that were on the way to deliver the patties to the restaurants. According to the various reports, authorities have inspected factories and restaurants across the country. Yeah, the country, and have found human meat in 90% of the locations. Horse, Jesus, man, 90% of the locations. So this is an organized structure. It's not that it was random, man. How can this be random? So horse meat was found in 65% of the locations. FBI agent Lloyd Harrison told Hustler reporters the worst part, that it's not only human meat, it's child meat. Given the Epstein files, do you still think this is some crazy conspiracy? The body parts were found across the US factories and were deemed too small to be adult body parts. This is truly horrible. Yeah, it is. I really have no comments for this one. Having some video evidence would be better, but I think that, first off, YouTube wouldn't allow me to show that. Second of all, man, you must be a sick individual to film stuff like that.
Oh, what a beautiful day for fun. What would you like to do? Party. That's a wonderful idea. Let's see. What kind of food should we have? McDonald's! Great! I packed some right here. Let's see. McDonald's hamburgers? Yeah! And some French fries? Yeah! Don't they look delicious? Yeah! And some triple thick McDonald's shakes? Yeah! Oh. Oh. Well, we can always make good use of that. Ah, here they are. Triple thick McDonald's shakes. Why, they're empty. Say, you sure can get a lot in these bags, can't you?
In the past, I used to think that, and I used to like all these, vintage commercials, because they had some, at least they had some feeling of authenticity to them. But what I see now, man, it's completely flipped on its head. And it always has been. It always has been. Just as if somebody carefully orchestrated this sort of modern cubicle world that we're living in today. Somebody very clever. It makes me think, it makes me wonder, what else is there? What else is there, right? Because if every fear is being manifested in the world nowadays, and the world seems to be really collapsing, man, what really is there? Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments section. And then once again, to prove my point that, probably nothing's gonna change, and the new system and the new world is gonna be just the same as the old one was. So I'm gonna play it, which basically prove my point. They prove my point in the sense that people don't care. They just don't care. I think this is probably because this young man he's just a teenager or whatever. And when you are a teenager, in the most times, and I was just like that 15 years ago, I guess, something like that. So when you're just a teenager, you tend to neglect a lot of things. You think that being bad is amazing. You're like a bad boy, and chicks are gonna love you, and everybody's gonna fall before you. So, and you kind of tend to point out that being immoral and trashy or whatever is just a good way to live your life. It's just a good way to live your life. But that's one thing when you're 19 or 20. That's completely another thing when you're 35 or something like that. So you start to see, the cycle, more, should I say, more full cycles of some processes in the world. And it makes you rethink, your priorities, your basically your life values, or just in my case, it makes you collapse fully. And when there's so much evil and everything around is evil, what's the point of living? But anyway, this was a set of vids in regards to this new, or should I say maybe not new, but the one that is also resurfacing conspiracy theory that states that McDonald's, food chains, fast food chains, junk food chains are using human meat in their products, at least to some extent. So let me know what you guys think about it. Is it true, or is it just some, Lulu type stuff? I think we should get to the bottom of these things, and I urge other people who do reactions to uncover more. Because, just with the Epstein files, I think You know, we gotta raise up the awareness about all this stuff, because there's so much delusion going on in the world right now, and this is just being one of them. So, you know, as they say in the Planet of the Apes, apes together, strong. So we must stay together to be strong. And once again, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and thank you for watching, and I see you next time. Bye bye and peace out.